So Kala, Alyssa, and Kaheleolani, you guys are presenting your interview, okay? So just a heads up here, okay? We need to make sure that you guys are in character. Okay, that you follow the rubric. So you might want to look at the rubric just real fast. Okay, so your prep worksheet should be completed. And then the interview questions are well planned out and executed in character. And then the character from Lord of the Flies, your details should reflect character and knowledge of the plot, and then have like an extended synthesis of the character. Alrighty. Let's have you guys go for it.
Claude, it's you first, and then Kahana, it's you, right?
Sounds good.
So first we are interviewing Jack. 10 years after the island, he has murdered the twins and Roger after the police started to investigate Piggy, Simon, and Wilfred's accusations of Jack's physical assault. He was charged with 35 years in prison 5 years ago. Okay, ready? Okay, who was your next target going to be and why?
If I wasn't caught, my next target would have been Ralph. I've been looking for him ever since we got off that stupid island. I was head boy in the choir and he had no right to be chief.
Why do you hate Ralph?
Like I said, he has no right to be chief. I'm the oldest and also head boy in the choir. I can still sing the C sharp. I should have finished him when I had the chance.
If you didn't get caught, how would you have done it?
I would have poked him with the tip of my spear just like how I did the rest of his friends. That Piggy kid had it coming.
Why did you kill Roger and the twins?
They would have told the police what really happened on that island. I couldn't allow that to happen. That's why I sent Roger to finish them off.
Do you plan on starting your life after you get out?
I plan on settling down and distancing myself from my past. Prison is a horrible place and I do not want to go back. Thank you.
Next, we are interviewing Ralph, 18 years after the island and 8 years after Jack's killing spree. Ralph got home to take care of his father and continued to enlist into the army. He shares with us his inspiration from his father, how he felt about what Jack did, and his future. Okay. God, are you ready? Okay. What happened to your father?
My dad died shortly after I returned home, and this is what truly inspired me to join the army. I always looked up to him, so this really motivated me to do my best.
What is your relationship with some of the boys after getting off the island?
I talked to Sam and Eric for a few years after we got back, though. After their death, I haven't made contact with many of the other boys. There are the occasional times we've been asked questions all together, but other than that, I don't see them due to me being in the Army.
How did you feel when you found out that Jack killed Roger and the twins?
It really brought back old memories, as Sam and Eric were one of the few people outside us on the island. Since both Simon and Piggy died there, Sam and Eric's death made me feel like I was a little boy stuck on that island again.
Did you ever think about revenge?
At times I have, but after he was locked up, I felt more at peace knowing he can't hurt anyone else.
What are your plans for after you retire?
After I retire, I honestly want to relax and spend time with those I'm closest to. If there's anything I've learned from being on the island, that I have to appreciate being around others who care for me.
Thank you, Ralph.
All right, well done. Well done. Cool. So Caleb, I guess what you can do is like on the side, just email Hayden. Okay, and say that tomorrow when we check in, we gotta do our interview tomorrow. Okay, and then we'll just move on. Okay, how you guys doing? You guys had a good weekend? Horrible. Why?
My throat hurts. So bad.
Yeah, you have a cold?
No, I think I don't know. I was probably
Allergies?
snoring one night. That's probably what it is. I don't normally snore, so when it does,
Okay, Grandma.
it hurts.
Well, just wait till you turn 40. Okay. All righty. So let's go ahead and we're gonna move on. So if you guys do me a big favor, okay? We are going to move on to this today's lesson. Okay. And that's going to be on our ear. Oh, actually, hang on. Okay, we need to do the feedback for the interviews for Lord of the Flies. So if you guys look at the feedback section in this week's module, go ahead and copy and paste from interview members, and then the 3, 2, 1, the wows, positives, and questions, and then go ahead and post them below, and then go ahead and give your classmates feedback. So that would be Caleb, okay? And then tomorrow you guys will give feedback for Caleb and Hayden. Okay, bless you, okay. Now the rest of you guys, I need you guys to go get a highlighter. Okay, and then Kala Hikiola, you're gonna have to take notes. So we gotta set up your assignment. Okay, so yeah, Caleb, you just go ahead and do that while I find Kala Hikiola, the PDF.
I'm borrowing a friend's, if that's okay.
Oh, who's that?
Oh, Meow, Carlos.
Oh, you better give him one snack or something after.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure to give him a very, very big hug after class.
Maybe just Knuckles, bruh, Knuckles. Okay, so
Yeah.
what I want you to do is to take notes then, okay? Actually, you can take notes with the worksheet. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We might be able to finish most of our work today, actually. Very little homework. Your homework might consist of membing tonight. So that's the beautiful thing about small classes, actually. Okay, so we are going to talk about Keaulumoku's prophecy and the short story of Auaia. Okay, and there's a reason. So Kala, I'm so glad you said that you knew it was a chant, but you didn't know what it was for. But then you know that it's something special because they would perform it up at the Mauna during Pico. Yeah, so very good. I appreciate what you shared. So let's go ahead. What we're going to do is we're going to use this worksheet. So go ahead and make your copy. You know the drill. Okay, so go ahead and make a copy. You can do this either on your own or with partners. So you know what I'm thinking? Let's go ahead and let's use partners. So let's go, Caleb and Kala, you guys can be partners today. Okay, and then Kahele, Alani, and Alicia, Alyssa, you can be partners, okay? Girl, I'm self-correct. Did you hear me? Did you hear that? There is hope for this old lady. I can remember your name. And watch, I'm gonna have you next year in 10th grade, and I'm still gonna go back to calling you Alyssa. Okay, let's get started. So we have, okay, about 10 minutes, all right? So what I'm gonna have you guys do is one of you guys can share your worksheets with each other and you guys can turn in the same worksheet. Okay, all good. Okay, so make a copy for each other. So figure it out who's gonna make the copy and then share it.
I got it, Caleb.
Okay, and then just one of you guys submit, okay? Just make sure that both of your names are on it. I like partner work. Do you guys? And you guys don't have to feel so alone in the world. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes, okay? What I want you guys to do is look over. Okay, you have 3 questions to answer for the Keaulumoku prophecy. Okay, so first of all, the first question is, who is Keaulumoku? The second question is, what did Keaulumoku prophesize? So you guys know what prophesizing is? It's kind of like fortune telling, like saying what's going to happen, okay? I need you to highlight that because that is major, okay? You guys are going to be mind blown today. And then number 3, we're going to answer this question. With change being inevitable, what should Hawaiians hold on to? Okay, 10 minutes. Go for it. Kala, can you add the link to the chat so I can see what you guys are doing? All right. Are you guys done? Alasing Tahila Lani, you guys, pal. You guys need a couple more minutes. Tahila Lani, you guys done?
I'm still reading it.
Oh, okay. Okay, wait. Alyssa, we're not doing that yet because that's for the short story Awaiya, the memorable quotes page. Yeah. We're just answering the first 3 questions. So with change being inevitable, what should Hawaiians hold on to? Right. And that for you guys, it might be more of a personal connection. Okay. So all answers are welcome. Okay, so let's kind of move on here so we can get into this short story. So we know that Kiao Ulumoku was very extremely talented. Yeah, we know that he was a poet, dreamer, prophet, and then more like a repository of knowledge, right? He held on to a wide range of knowledge as well as wisdom that was often used in critical moments during his time period. Okay, what else? The prophecies. Okay, so let's have Caleb go ahead and talk about the prophecies.
He prophesied that the unification of all islands under Kamehameha's rule and the destruction of the monarchy and the ruin of temples, and also the oncoming white race and the disappearance of the Hawaiian people.
Okay, so if we know anything about Hawaiian history, were the Hawaiian Islands unified? Yes, right? I believe that happened in 1810 under Kamehameha. Okay. With Kauai not being conquered, but said, okay, we will join, right? They were never conquered. So if you ever meet Kauai people, they're always, there's something really cool about them, right? They're very confident people. If you've ever met somebody from Kauai, right? They say, Kauaians, that's why, right? But also knowing that pride that they never was a conquered people, they joined in. Really cool to know that, right? But the unification of the Hawaiian Islands is something that was done under Paea or Kamehameha I. What's really cool about that is the wondering, right? What would have happened if the islands were never unified? Would it have been easier to take them over? I don't know, right? That's just something I wonder about. Okay, the next thing, right? The next prophecy was about the ruin of temples, right? And the oncoming of, the foreigners. what's really interesting about that is that in 1819, what happened, right? We know that the Battle of Kuomo'o happened, right? After Kamehameha I, Paea, passed away, right? There was a little bit of chaos, right? Restructuring of the Hawaiian kingdom, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but anytime a king is passes away and there's a transition of power, people or the people under him, right, start jockeying for power. You see it happen all the time, right? If you've ever been on a team and the team has a new coach, okay, or if there's a school that has a new principal, right, it's the same concept. Okay, so as you guys go through and you guys start working and you have careers and you have new bosses, okay, notice that, right? People will start try to make moves in order to jockey for position. It's very interesting. The whole restructuring of power when a very powerful leader no longer exists, and then there's a transition of power. So what happened, right? We have Liholiho come into power, right? Kamehameha II. He is young during this time, right? In fact, he had, some would say, very little power, right? And who oversaw the transition, right? We have a queen by the name of Queen Ka'ahumanu, right? Who becomes Kuhina Nui, right? And what is that, right? So when a king is too young, there's usually somebody overseeing the transition and even filling in to help out with decision making during a young king's time. Okay, so does everybody understand that? Where Ka'ahumanu was actually very powerful. Okay, along with her was Keopuolani, right? So we have Kamehameha I is two most powerful wives. One is, yes, upstairs on the opposite side. Yeah, go upstairs and it's the one at the end nearest to the stairwell. I got you. All right. So anyway, what happens is in 1819, the Battle of Kuomo'o happens, right? The falling of the idols, the burning of the temples, okay? The loss of the kapu system, right? No more. So Keaulumoku prophesizes all of these things happening. Seems like it's impossible, but it happened, right? Internally, this happened before the missionaries came in 1820. Okay, so everybody clear on that. That's a really big shift in thinking if you didn't know that. Okay, so 1819, Battle of Kuomo'o, things fall apart. No more kapu system. Okay, Liholiho, King Kamehameha II is not really a powerful king because he's young at the time. Okay, and then we have Ka'ahumanu basically telling him what to do. Okay, everybody good on that? Interesting, yeah? Okay, then what happens? What's the next prophecy? The oncoming white race. So the following year, in 1820, the missionaries show up, okay? And basically the rest is history as you know it, right? The missionaries bring in the letters and the alphabets, right? And this new technology called reading and writing, right? And then the population of Hawaii becomes one of the most literate populations in the world. Quite interesting. Okay, so we had that prophecy come true. The only prophecy that has yet to come true is what, Kaheleaulani? What is the last prophecy that hasn't come true yet?
Is it the disappearance of
The disappearance of what?
blind people? Or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So the disappearance of Hawaiian people has not happened yet, right? Is it starting to happen? Have you met a full Hawaiian person in your lifetime? Yeah, you have? Really? Kala, in your family, you have?
Not in my family, but the kind, what's it called? She's
Family
like,
friend?
or yeah, I guess you could say that.
Wow, that's really cool. And is she young or old?
She's old. It's Auntie Kekuhi.
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah, she lives on my street.
She does. Oh, wow, that's cool. So, anybody else have met a full Hawaiian person? Yeah, I haven't. I don't think I've met a full Hawaiian person. Alyssa, you? Really? Who is that?
My great grandma.
Awesome. Yes, and is she still living today?
No, she passed 2 years ago.
Oh man, do you have memories of her?
No, my
Explain.
dad would never let me see her as often because she had dementia.
Oh, bummers. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, alrighty. So we're gonna move on to the next question. And the next question is this, right? What change, with change being inevitable, what should Hawaiians hold on to? And this could be answered on an individual level. Hi, Josh, how are you? Let's catch you up here. Okay, we're in the setting the foundations of the Kauhale booklet. So I hope that you have your booklet with you.
Okay.
And what?
Let me go find it.
Okay, and then we're looking at Keaulumoku's prophecy, and then we're going to be reading. Oh, yeah. So on the back page, right? That's where you kind of think about this, this final question, the third question, right? And so if you guys look, right, there are certain things that you should have highlighted on the back page, right? And this is an excerpt by John Charlot, who helped to write this book called Classical Hawaiian Education. It's huge. I don't know how many pages, 800 pages or something. It's a lot. It's a big manuscript. He goes through in the he goes through and does research on what Hawaiian classical education looks like, and it's a very interesting read. If you ever want to read it, it's all online. Okay, in fact, go ahead and Google it right now. Okay, try type in John Charlot's Classical Hawaiian Education, and the PDF pops up. It's huge. Okay, and maybe what I would suggest you do is to bookmark it. Okay, there may be times where you could possibly look something up from it. Okay, and there it might be a something that you could reference in your research. Did you guys find it? All right, put it in the chat for you guys. So go ahead and save it as a bookmark. Okay. When you look at it, It's pretty interesting. He has done some major research in how Hawaiians learned in the ancient times. Okay. And then it's all broken up. If you guys scroll down, still mine is still loading, but if you go to page 7, the content is tells you where to look for certain things. Actually, it's pretty interesting. Okay, I would encourage you guys at some point to read at least the introduction, and then yeah, so chapter 1 and chapter 2 especially. Okay, and then if you guys go down, there's other really cool topics to choose from, especially if you come from like a Lavaia family or a Canoe family. So if you guys scroll down, I think Kala, you're from kind of a Canoe family. So if you look at chapter, what is that? Chapter 10, wait, no, chapter 5, educational institutions. So we have extended family, and if you guys go down, experts, and then there is farming, fishing, canoe making, navigation. Okay, I encourage you guys to really check this out. This is a body of work that was done by a pretty famous like anthropologist who kind of looked up and researched the genius of Hawaiians back in the day. Okay, so anyway, if you guys look, let's go back to our booklet. Okay, so John Charlot, in talking about O'Ia, right? If you guys look, right, we're talking about the chant, and that's where Kala Hikiola, that's where kind of answers the question about what was the chant for, right? The purpose of the chant. So if you guys go to the back side where it says excerpts by John Charlot, right? It says Kel Ulumoku wrote 2 chants, Hauli Kala Lani and Auaia. In Hauli Kalani, he offered a political and personal solution to the problems facing Hawaiians. They should unite under behind Kamehameha, the chant that was formulated entirely within a Hawaiian context. And the foreigners were not even mentioned. But the foreigners were the inescapable problem. Their arrival with their technologically advanced culture was the new unassimilated element on the scene. Their intentions were not entirely clear, but it was obvious that they would accept anything they were given, take anything they could, and kill if resisted. Okay, so I would highlight some of that stuff. Okay, the challenge of the foreigners could not be met in pure traditional ways. Hawaiian culture itself was inevitably called into question, right? So the Battle of Kuomo'o, right? The changing of the ancient ways with the kapu system, and then the foreigners coming in 1820, right? For instance, foreigners seem to be able to break Hawaiian taboos with impunity, right? So something like with the kapu system, right? Women could not eat pork, women could not eat bananas, right? And then the foreigners came and did those things, and what happened to them? Did they burst into flames? No, right? And so they were like, wait a minute, is this true, right? And their whole belief system shifted, which was really, I would think, a powerful moment that we could not go back, we could not turn back from. Okay, it says everything in the Hawaiian culture began to look unstable. What in fact could Hawaiians rely on? Did anything solid remain? Change was inevitable, but what should Hawaiians hold on to? On what ground could Hawaiians stand to face the problems of the future, right? And that's really the question for you guys, is what do you hold on to, right? And how do you hold on to something and yet not remain static or stuck in the past, but be very successful in the future, right? So that's the question for you. I can't answer that question. That is for you to answer and for you to discover, actually. So hopefully you're on that, you know, that mission of discovery. Yeah, that journey to discover what is it that you can be successful at. Okay, so anyway, here it is. Okay, so we're gonna move on because we have this amazing story to read today. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Okay, let's see. So just a couple things. Okay, here's the Oli. Actually, I think no, I don't. Darn it. Okay. So I just wanted to play for you a little bit of it just so you can hear it. I hope there's no, oh, great. There is a commercial.
Quiz on their website to match me perfectly. It feels
So
like I
much
have
fun.
nothing on my face.
It does feel like I have nothing on my face. Okay.
Okay, kama e ka uli uli ya papi ho ahila lo ike alu ule ka inu ku kama kingu lohe lohe o ka hana na ia iki o hula hula ka ia kalihi a o po hakuku me da uvena hua hoi hua ni ani ka umu onu ola ni ola.
So on YouTube, you can actually find the dance. So Kala, I'm gonna ask you a question. You saw the hula for Ao'ia?
Yeah, we gotta perform it too in middle school.
Okay, so you guys know about the motions, right? There is a
Yeah, some
twisting,
of it.
right? There is a twisting, there is a bringing from the side and coming to the center, right? Obviously, hula is not in my wheelhouse, but I super appreciate it to its fullest, right? But we do have some gathering, right, to the center, right? And then we have emotion of like being pa'a, right? So it's a very impressive hula. It almost makes it like gives me chicken skin every time you just feel it to the core. Caleb, since you have not been you didn't come during middle school, you don't know what we're talking about, correct? Okay, so I'd encourage you guys to like look up the dance even. It's pretty powerful. Okay. Right. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is this. Okay. We're going to read Ao'ia together. Okay. We're going to be reading Ao'ia together. So everybody good? I'm going to start us off. Okay. You guys have your highlighters? So Kala, you're probably going to have to like take notes or something. Okay. So the notes is going to happen in your memorable quotes and page, right? So make sure that you take notes on that. Josh, you got your book. Okay, all right. So this is Ao'ia by Mary Beth Aldosa. Okay, you guys ready? All right. Kumu sat on the steps leading to the stage at the Diamond Head and of Lehua School's cafeteria. The large wooden pahu drum completely filling the space between his legs. Despite opening the room's 6 swinging doors to their widest point, the air in the caf was hot and still. The breezes that usually waft in to cool our tension that hung in the air. Oh, sorry, I skipped. Sorry, cool our halaus dancers seemed hesitant, not wanting to enter tonight. It was the pahu's presence or some other source of tension that hung in the air. The wind seemingly sensed what we Haumana knew. We were doing drum dances tonight. Hula was not going to be fun. I threw my bag onto one of the cafeteria's long white tables, pulling my blue calico pa'u skirt over my work clothes. Everyone, it seemed, was in a bad mood. And I soon discovered it wasn't entirely because of the drum. The nerve, yeah? That howly kid. You saw him on TV. Freaking attitude, said Tanya in disgust. Jan's laughter spilled over into her words. That's forget cracks. And Morse, brother is on the football team. You know he going get lickings. Is that really the kid? Added Kathy in her high-class pidgin. It's the mother. Hello. It states right on the application, biological grandparents. I slid into line as Kumu let his thick hands fall simultaneously onto the drum's shark skin surface. All right, let's get started, Kumu called, pulling his drum closer to him. He lifted his hands again, pounding out familiar rhythms with the graceful hands of a dancer. Utetete, utete, utetete, utete. Kumu took us through the basic steps of hula, calling out each new movement with perfect and practiced timing. Hela, ami, uwehe, kavelu, kaholo, correcting his dancers, reminding and prodding us to push further, bend lower, fully extending the arm, the foot, the leg, all the while pounding out a steady drum beat. Utetete, utete. Girls, push out your kikala. Utetete, utete. Flatten your foot, Malia. Okay, I'm gonna call. Alyssa, go ahead and read for us several paragraphs. Have fun with it.
Within minutes of basics, my leg muscles began to ache and stiffen. My t-shirt was wet with sweat, clung to me, and I struggled to catch my breath. Still, with calves that felt as though they were on fire, I repeated hela after hela. Utetete, utete. Finally, the drumming stopped, but our relief was short-lived. All right, everyone, take a second, then we'll get on with Awaiya. Oh Lord, not Awaiya. Just the thought of the dancers' strenuous movements tired me. Dancers left their lines to grab water bottles or a bit of fresh air, stretching stiff limbs and trying to return their breathing to normal. Whoa, extra long warm-ups, and now Awaiya? Okay, which one of you guys would piss him off? Joked Alina, one of Kumu's old-timers. We giggled softly, which Kumu must have taken to mean that we had had enough of a break because he called us back to dance. All right, Kumu began. Who remembers what Awaiya means? Even before most of us had fully processed Kumu's question, Yaiko was calling out the answer. At 62, Yaiko was our oldest dancer, and she knew all the answers. She studied every song, memorized every movement, while other dancers spent their breaks smoking cigarettes, or talking stories. Yaiko would diligently study her hula book. She'd taken hula for years and practiced daily. Despite her efforts, Yaiko was not considered a beautiful hula dancer. Still, what she lacked in gracefulness, she more than made up for in knowledge and heart. The Halau's younger dancer didn't appreciate this about Yaiko, but I did. More?
No. Okay, let's stop right here. So go ahead and take a side note. Okay, thank you for reading. That was great. Okay, so Yaiko, right? She is an overachiever, right? She is committed to hula, and she is committed to building her repository of knowledge, right? You cannot dance something if you don't know what you're dancing for, right? I'm sure who's the person down at middle school who tells you those things? Which kumu was that? Kumukimo? Kumumele? Who? Right? You can't really,
Hawaiian
a lot
teachers.
of, okay, a lot of them, right? You cannot dance if you don't know what you're dancing for, right? So we have Yaiko here, 62 years old, Japanese national, comes in, right? Wants to learn, wants to perpetuate, right? And yet the local, right? The younger, right? Halal dancers didn't appreciate that about Yaiko, right? Maybe she came off as a know-it-all to the younger Halmana, right? But really, what is that? Kalal, what do you think? What is that? Where does the Kuleana fall with that?
Sorry, what is the question?
The question is, even though these younger hula dancers don't really appreciate Yaiko knowing the answers, right? Really, whose responsibility is that? To
Their
know
own.
the answer. Yeah, their own, right? So I don't know. If somebody doesn't know it, then what happens, right? To the knowledge, right? It dies out.
It's lost.
It's lost, right? Okay. So anyway, Yaiko. Okay, so let's have Kaheleolani continue reading. We're at Biastin G.
Be us stingy, she said, in her thick Japanese accent. Be stingy, very good. Yaiko, ladies. Oh wait, it was a warning, remember? A warning to hold on to your culture, our way of life. Now this notion. Kumo lifted his arms to shoulder height, extended his hands out towards us, and crisply and deliberately flipped them. Palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down, flip, flop, flip. What is this motion supposed to signify? Finally, a good question I could answer. Turmoil, I said softly. Kumu nodded. My cut you. Yes, the flipping of the hands represents turmoil. Remember now, this chant comes from a prophecy that things in Hawaii were going to change. It was foreseen that people would come here to these islands, and the change they brought would leave us in turmoil. He dropped his hands and looked at us. Ladies, I expect to see that emotion in your dance. Kumu walked back to his drum and sat on the steps facing his dancers. He raised his hands and let them fall. A series of low, loud thuds sounded through the room. I stood still and felt my breath coming harder and faster, not from exertion since I had not moved a muscle, but rather from rage. Frustration at the week's events, at Judge Ezra's decision to allow a non-Hawaiian to come to my school explode through my veins, feeding each cell. With the rage, I rarely allowed myself to feel. The anger moved, danced to the Pahu's beat, and slow-moving, model slow, deadly, and unforgiving. Kula called to us, ready us for the dance.
Thank you. All right. Okay, so What does that mean, right? The motion, right? Should have highlighted, right? The flipping of the hand, the palm, right? The turmoil, right? What is the turmoil? Right? The chaos, right? Is the chaos external or internal or both, right? Does it still exist today? Okay, that's something for you guys to answer. All right, Kala, go ahead. Oh, yeah, since you were.
Hi. Ia e kama e kona mohu. Weeks of conditioning had trained our bodies to respond almost automatically to Kumu's call, his kahel. Hips began their slow circular motion in Ami to the right that once completed was then reversed, becoming in Ami to the left, right, reverse, left, reverse, the body moving, circling, dancing in an imitation of life. Hawaiians taking the same path but going nowhere, rounding a corner only to be pushed back. My heart pounded as I forcefully pushed and pulled at the air, grabbing, grasping, but for what? The motions were repeated, driven by the slow beat of the pahu, that with each repetition grew faster and more bombastic. Aiha'a, Kumu commanded loudly. You need to aiha'a, bend your knees. The drum beat came to an abrupt halt as Kumu stood. All of you, he said, do this motion. We obeyed, imitating Kumu's hand placement, our right fist firmly sitting on our left. Now from here, I want you to twist and push down. Twist, push down, twist, push down. Kumu observed the movement, still unhappy with his execution. No, that's not quite it, he said, more to himself than to the class. Look, ladies, I need you to visualize. Think of someone you can't stand. Now take your fist and make a ringing motion, like you're wringing their neck. Have you all got a person in mind? Kumu asked mischievously. Oh yes, Kumu, I thought I have a perfect someone in mind. A certain Mahaoi Haole from Kauai. A certain lying non-Hawaiian mother who sneaked her smug little brat into Kamehameha school. A certain scheming, lying little thief. Kumu made his way back to his drum, raised his hand, and let them fall with a thump. Right on cue, the dancers commenced, but within seconds, Kumu's drum fell silent again, bringing the dancers to a halt mid-motion. Our frustration manifested itself in the strange looks that passed between us. What had we done wrong this time? Kumu stood up and walked out from behind the pole. Ladies, he said, a look of exasperation on his face. Think about your dance. As a dancer, you need to think. What are you saying? This question lingered in the air. What are we saying? I thought. You folks want to know what I see? Kumu asked. This is what I see. He took what vaguely resembled the correct body position. His erect arms slackened, falling just an inch or two. His fully extended leg had been repositioned, bent as a prostitute on a street corner might do to attract a toot. His fully where am I? Attract the customer. Haha. And his hands had changed as well, converting from the desired harsh, stiff-fingered movements to the soft, languid hand motions that people generally associate with hula. Kumu repeatedly flipped his hand, a soft, gentle flip, smiling as he did so. Palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down, flippity floppity flip. Kumu spoke calmly. When you do your motions to ia like this is what you are saying. When he spoke again, the pitch of his voice was higher and decidedly feminine, as were his mannerisms. How's it? You like my land? Go ahead, take him. How about my car? You like my car too? Here, the keys. Hey, by the way, you like Kamehameha school? Come, it's all yours. Help yourself. Kumu's stunned students erupted with laughter as he did.
All right, stop right there. Go ahead and highlight something because Kumu had stuff on his mind too, right? Okay. right? And so every year we read this during the Makahiki season. Why? Because our students didn't know why they were dancing this dance, right? And then to integrate this short story into it, right? So when the kids were fooling around and making any kind, right? What were they saying, right? Come, you like my land, take my land. You like my car, take my car. Here are the keys, take them, right? Like come Kamehameha schools, take them, right? Right? If you are underperforming, right? What are you saying to the people, right, that didn't make it into Kamehameha schools? Ah, sucks to be you, but I'm gonna fool around this whole time. So this story doesn't only talk about taking and holding on to your culture, right? It talks about the place you earned and what are you gonna do with it, right? How are you gonna awama kuleana? How are you gonna carry the kuleana of being at this school? You're not coming here for no reason, right? And all of you guys, I hope you guys are listening, right? You guys are not here for fun, for no reason, right? People have worked really hard to set you guys up to be something more, right? So all of you guys, what is your kuleana to be here, right? That's something I cannot answer. We have plenty questions for you guys today and no answers, okay? And that's gonna lead us to our final, yes. Bathroom, okay, go ahead. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and make a mark right there, okay? I want you to make a little mark right there where it says, finally, Kumu composed himself, okay? Kala, I want you to write a note there. You're gonna finish this tonight, okay? Go ahead and finish that tonight. Kaheleaulani, you're gonna finish this tonight. Josh, you too. Okay, if you don't have the book, Josh, then you can find it on the internet. There should be a PDF. Okay, good?
Okay.
All right, okay. All right, next thing. Okay, I'm gonna stop you guys here because I want you guys to read the rest on your own. Okay, so if you guys look at your worksheet, what we have here is, I want you just to grab like 3. Let's do 3 memorable quotes. I don't know why I gave you guys so many lines. Okay, on the very bottom, you have a question to answer. Okay, from the worksheet, and that is, what is your biggest lesson to take from this mo'olelo? Okay, that's for you guys to answer, and that's going to be the worksheet that's going to be due. Okay, so that worksheet is due on April 30th. Okay, everybody good on that? Please take out your planners and write it down. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the final project. Okay, so what we have here is the final project. You're going to brainstorm the final project. This is going to be due on Sunday before you come back to class for next week. Okay, so when you guys click on that, go ahead and click on that, make your own copy. Anyone with the link can view. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to leave you with your English 9 final project. Okay, you're gonna have to watch this video by Simon Sicknick. Okay, it talks about the why. Okay, so if you guys look at the 3rd slide, everybody, 3rd slide. Okay, the why. We are all on our own educational journeys. Let's celebrate the growth and impact of your learning. Okay, so that is the purpose of your final. Everybody good on that? Okay, so the what, right? So when you look at the what, there's this author. His name is Stephen Covey. He's the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? He describes in detail what a paradigm shift is. Okay, so the word paradigm, yeah? He says is the belief is another word for paradigm. It's a synonym. Your belief is the way things are. Okay, so if you look at the 4th slide, it says the more aware we are of our basic paradigms, right, our basic beliefs, maps, or assumptions, and the extent to which we have been influenced by our experience, the more we can take responsibility for paradigms. Examine them, test them against reality, listen to others, and be open to their perceptions, thereby getting a larger picture and a far more objective view, right? So that's the what, right? What are we doing, right? We're looking at how we shifted our belief system, our paradigm from being a 9th grader to now preparing to be a 10th grader. Okay, so go to slide 5. Okay, so slide 5, English 9 reflection project. You're going to be describing where you started your school year. Yeah, just describe yourself. Number 2, you're going to reflect on 3 critical moments, experiences of impact. Okay. You're going to talk about how you were impacted. You're going to use specific texts or assignments, direct quotes, and their evidence from English 9. You're going to reflect your paradigm shifts, right? I used to think this, or I used to be this way. But now, after stretching and challenging myself and hopefully growing, right? What changes in attitude, mindsets, and behaviors resulted in your English 9 class? Okay, so everybody good on what you're trying to prove here, how you're going to be demonstrating your knowledge. Okay, if you guys look at the how, you're gonna select the how, okay? And in your copy, go ahead and write down the how is how you're going to be presenting or demonstrating, okay, your final project, okay? Go ahead and write down 2 to 3 minute presentation. Okay, 2 to 3 minute presentation, okay? Can you do this with a video? Yes. Can you do this with an art piece? Yes. Okay, but you're gonna have to explain it. So if you look at at slide 7, the what, use what you have learned this year to demonstrate your growth and the understanding of your future you, right? So what is your 10th grade you gonna look like? So from slide 7 on down, what I did was I just wrote down specific works that we've covered, okay? And then you guys can plug in and figure out what it is that you want to pull from, okay? You need to have 3 specific details. I'm looking for questions at this point. Anybody have questions? Kahelelani, you have a question? No? Nobody has questions, huh? Okay. How's about an example? Would you like to see an example? Okay. So when we look at this, if you look here, there is an example right here. So what I did was I pulled a playlist of basically past performances. Okay. So how come I have 2 of the same? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna show you guys, this was actually done several years ago. Okay, but basically they're gonna pull their knowledge from Romeo and Juliet and Hawaiian culture. Okay, and then they created this Hamilton remake.
women collide through heartache, recount lost loves and anger-fueled heartache.
Hina kidnapped by Molokai chief, with Halku's end a deluge of grief.
Hobiahu lost in his swarms of lies, a battle between two other wives. A pair of star-crossed lovers take their lives, gulfed with death, buried in their parents' strife.
And on this stage where the stories collide, our damsels unite to regain their pride. Depressed, distressed, trying to impress overprivileged down to the nobles of Verona, on top in the whole village by prominence, affluence and honor. Grow up to be a trader up for slaughter. His first lover pushed aside, he saw another, got a new lover. Bobby and the young suitor, Bobby and the saints, lover feelings without cover by 14. His one true love placed up for barter. And on the day when Hina was kidnapped and taken away, across the way she struggled and kept her guard up. Inside she was longing for someone to be a part of. The reason he was ready to loot, steal, pillage, plunder. Hurricane came and devastation reigned. Poliahu saw her future dripping down the drain. Abandoned by Ivohi, making her insane. Explicate.
Okay, so what I'm showing you guys basically is a way, right? The how. How can you demonstrate your knowledge using your talents, right? So I think as Alyssa, you are an artist, right? So you could potentially draw something. And so I think you saw that drawing up on my TV, right? In class, and those represented major learning points for that student, right? So all you would have to do is draw something, perform it in class, explain each part, and you're good to go. Okay, so start wrapping your brain around what that looks like. Okay. We had a group, which is really funny, create this Family Feud video, which is out of control.
With the eye of the sky, these islands formed, the genesis to be like no other. In this Mo'olelo, emotions shall storm. Within lies something more than a pother. In hopes that science will frame his fame, he finds himself batting for more than base 3. His shock was cocked in Arcaneo form. Unsettling was his epiphany.
Okay, so basically, I'm gonna push it forward.
Time to play Family Feud!
We really...
And your host, Steve Harvey!
We really do have a good one for you guys today. We have a 500-year-old feud being settled here today at Family Feud. Now, we have two families, you know, the Montagues and the Capulets. Now representing the Capulets, we have Lord Capulet. Now, a round of applause to represent the Montagues. Boo! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm yourself. Sorry. Round of applause for the Montagues. Thank you. Round of applause for the Montagues. For the Capulet. Now, Lord Montague, Lord Capulet, I heard you guys have a feud. Of course, 500 years. But, Mr. Capulet, heard you've been here from the beginning, so you want to share with the audience how it all started.
That's a good story.
Yeah, that's why I want to hear it.
Oh, so, you know, we actually used to be good friends, our family.
So you guys can go ahead. You guys have access to these videos. Okay, it's right here. I would like you guys to start brainstorming your final projects. I am totally okay if you guys want to work with partners, okay, or by yourself. Okay, everybody good on that? Okay. The point is, right, that if you work with partners, that you would work collaboratively. Okay, and for me, I would almost encourage that. Okay, but as you guys know, this year has been pretty unique, right? And so what is that going to look like for you guys on an individual level, right? You guys could talk about it and see how that works out. What I would encourage you guys to do is if you're going to partner up, and you don't have to, but you might want to just choose your cohorts, yeah, to work that way. It might be easier for you guys, but that's not to say it can't be done if you want to cross cohorts, okay? All right, what is it that we need to finish this week? Alyssa, could you please tell the class what it is that we got to finish up?
The reading, the
Okay.
worksheet,
Membean.
Membean.
Okay. And then just brainstorming, right? Yeah. So take the time. If you guys are interested in working together, email each other. Okay. Email each other. And then we'll check in tomorrow. Hopefully we can get your interview completed. Okay. All right. Good to go. I would suggest doing your Membean tonight. Can? Do it. Okay, you guys. Take it easy. Bye.